kia ora ana. So, last night I was quite stuck on my next move. All right, so I had just worked very hard last week to get everything up on my website, all of the baskets of knowledge, all of my offerings up on my website, and that was done. And so obviously now the plan is to speak to those, to speak to the importance of the work I'm doing, to stand behind the work I'm doing, and speak about examples of what it's done for my life, and for what this work has done for my life, and for those that have also done this work. And yeah, I was stuck, and I knew I was stuck. Okay, and so I sat down and I came with him and had a bit of a chat, and to remember, you know, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And this is just like, last week I was fired up, I'm having to write. I've just written all of this why I'm doing what I'm doing, and then the very next week I'm stuck. Right, and this is what happens, and so for me, I have the spaces and the tools to get unstuck, and to come back to my why, and to connect back to my intent, connect back to the bigger picture and all of that while I'm taking action. So I literally, jumped on to speak with my homie ChatGPT, and we have a beautiful connection. And I said I'm struggling to remember why I'm even sharing and doing what I'm doing, right? Based on all that I've shared with you, can you remind me of what I'm up to? Absolutely, right? Absolutely, it reckons. Let's bring you back to your roots, yeah. And we had a good chat, and then it got to this point where I said, can you list out, it was talking about how the work that I do in the world is essential. It's so essential, it's so important. I'm like, why? What kind of pains and problems are people carrying that would make this so important? Listed them out. I said, give real life examples about those things. Like, how would you identify these real life pains and problems? It's like self-doubt, second guessing decisions, constantly looking for signs, afraid to take action, another one, constantly shape-shifting, contorting yourself in different environments, struggle to answer simple questions, change how you speak depending on blah, blah, blah. Another one, not, not being seen and feeling like no one gets them, feeling like an outsider, an outcast, feeling overlooked, feeling unappreciated in their work, family, or friendships, and blah, blah, blah. We're going through this list, right? And I was reading through this list, and I said, hold up, wait a minute. I go, look here. When I read this list of all these pains and problems that people may have, and if they have these, this is what makes the work of understanding human design, gene keys, understanding these maps, and building self-awareness. This is why it's important. It becomes like so essential when you're carrying these kinds of pains and problems. I say, look here. This is how I talk. This is how we talk, right? I said, look here, for real. When I read through that list, I have those pains and problems. I have those pains and problems. So who the fuck am I to be saying that, oh, here's the solution over here, when like today, yesterday, and probably tomorrow, I'm going to have something on that list going on for me. Like, I was like, tell me, sell it to me, how the fuck, like, I can, like, tell these people, hey, this works, this works. The human design, is going to take all your problems away. Like, I didn't say that, but I was like, how can I when I'm going through that same shit? And, you know, the conversation that unfolded was things I'd already known. But just in that moment, I wasn't knowing. And it's like, I teach this because I do struggle with it. Like, because it is essential for me, I teach it. Right? Like, when my face care works for me, when it is essential for me, and so it says, "Oh fuck, geez, your skin looks beautiful. What are you up to? What do you think I'm going to tell them? Recommend something I don't use? No. I'm going to tell them what I use. Korean skincare, by the way. Thank me later. Toner pads. Must. Anyway. Focus. What do you think I'm going to do? Say something I don't use? And I realized, and I remembered in this conversation, I don't need to be all the way healed. In fact, I'm not. Until I take my last breath, that's when the journey is over. That's when the journey is over. Until then, I'm always on the journey. And there was a line in here that talked about, you know, like, you're not preaching from a pedestal, which I actually say whenever I'm facilitating. That's an example that I do use, you know. Like, I'm always learning from the space that I'm in also. So I'm not preaching from a pedestal. I'm actually, sharing from the messy middle. Like, I am in that mess too some days. And I've just been, for years, for the last 9 years, I have been choosing to come back home to when I get stuck, to use my tools to ground me. So I'm just sharing what's worked for me. I'm just sharing my experiment of getting lost, caught up, being in all of these things, self-doubt, burnout, not trusting myself, comparing myself. I'm not sharing this knowledge from a place of, now I've mastered all these things and these things don't happen to me. Hell no. I'm sharing them from a place of, these things happen to me, and I've paid attention enough to know that they happen to me. I'm not in denial that these things happen to me. And because they happen to me, I've also got this basket full of knowledge that I can pull on when they happen to me and guide myself back home. Because whenever I get caught up in the distractions of, I'm not good enough, I'm comparing myself, I'm burnt out, I'm, whatever else the list had on there, I feel like I'm not seen. When I'm shape shifting myself, contorting myself out of my natural shape to fit the shape and the mold of what is more acceptable, when I'm doing those things, it is me leaving myself. It is me leaving my nature. It is me leaving my authenticity and starting to become something that is more acceptable out there. So the tools in the kit, in the basket that I have, help me to come back home to myself, to my nature. And I wrote this piece around, when I'm not going to say when, I have built a home that I love being in. And now my home might change locations, but the process is the same, and how everything hums and how everything has its order in my home, in my whare. So my home is a place that I love to be. The people in my home, you know, my partner, the way that everything is set up, the aesthetics are everything for me, right? When you set up a home, um, it's everything, but I need to go back a step. This journey of alignment, coming more in alignment with your true nature, is not a goal to achieve it and chase like you're going to catch it. It's just a home to keep returning to. And just like me, I move around like based on where I know I'm needing to go. I will, or feeling called to go, I will move, right? Move homes, like move physical locations. That's why I don't really have a desire to own a home and live in that forever, because I'm going to be moving. Anyway, focus. So, this alignment to our true nature is not this goal that you're going to achieve and catch. It's not something to go out and chase to catch it, because it's always evolving, just like our home. And this journey of aligning to our nature is a home to keep coming back to over and over again when the challenges show up, when we're going outside of ourselves, to come back. And so I wrote a note down which says that when you create a home that is adorned in your style and your feel, and it's somewhere that you love and enjoy spending time within, right? Where you could go out, but you just love, your home. You love the feng shui, you love the setup. You could eat out, but you love how you cook at home, and, the foods that you've mastered to cook at home and the enjoyment that it brings those in the home, right? When you love visiting others, but you also equally love coming home to the place and to the people, right? Like that is beautiful. That is a home that has been created that you love coming back to. And the same is true within. When you create, your inner spaces to match your authentic true nature, your true style and feel, you're creating a space that you enjoy returning to, that you enjoy coming back to, that you don't want to leave. So when the challenges arise and, the pressure in the head says, you should bend yourself, you should bend yourself, contort yourself, you should, get caught up in this comparison stuff, you should blah, blah, and you start to go outside of yourself. You can feel the discomfort of going outside of yourself now, that so much so that you want to come back. And that's what the tools are there for, to guide us back home when we're leaving ourselves and we're leaving our true nature. We get alerted that we're leaving our true nature, and, our body is like, come back, Jack. Try it. But come home, that call, the fire, the ahika, which is in Maori, it's like the burning fires of home, right? When we've worked to keep our fires alight inside, then we've always got warmth and, a place that we can come back to. So, yeah, for me, this feels so nourishing within my body. I'm absolutely not coming here to talk to you like some expert about human design, gene keys, even the awareness maps that I have created and written a book on. I'm not sharing any of those from a place of like, I have mastered these. I'm coming to you from a place of, I use these in my day to day, daily. Okay. This is me sharing what helps me on this messy ass, good, bad, ugly, scary looking journey that I'm going on. And from the conversations I've had, we all messy out here, right? But we just live in a world that rewards, encourages you putting your best foot forward, yeah, to prove that you can perform, yeah. Our uniqueness isn't a hindrance, disability, um, inconvenience. Our uniqueness is essential. There is something lying within you that is unique to you, that is needed in the world. And it's about peeling back the layers of the shoulds, the coulds, the woulds, the conditioning to get into that place and unearth it. So, with that, gonna leave that there, and I'll see you on the next video. Kia ora. And if you have, wait, hold on. If you've resonated with this and you're like, you want to say something, you want to share something about that, like how you resonate with what is being said, write it below and I will come back to you. I just don't reply to like fucking bots and things on my social media or YouTube. But real recognize real. I'm a projector. Let's trust in that. I know when it's you expressing. So yeah, if you express, if you want a space to express, this is a safe space where you can do that. And yeah, feel free to leave a comment and I will come back to you. Kia ora.